So the first leg of the first staging of Michael Johnson's Grand Slam track, that was held in Kingston. It's now over. Lots of talk about it. Why was stadium so empty? Will we be getting it back? I'm Dion Jackson Miller. Thanks so much for joining me. Time for tea. So I have to say from the beginning, I did like this idea that Michael Johnson had. I like the idea of innovation, trying new things in the sport. I especially like the idea of decent payouts for our athletes because as you probably know, in track and field, our athletes don't get paid nearly as much as athletes in some other sports. And as a track fan, I'd love to see that change. So I really love the idea of the purses that they had in this event. And honestly, just watching how happy they were over the weekend, the various winners, when they realized they were taking home that $100,000, it was just wonderful to see. Seeing Danielle Williams, the only Jamaican to win a slam, she was so happy taking home that $100,000. The American Gabby, for instance, dancing up a storm. Again, you could just see how happy all of them were, and you just had to smile and be happy with them, you know. I'm always a little bit meh, you know, when you hear these reports that, oh, so-and-so won this amount of money or that medal for 10 seconds on the track. And I know it sounds dramatic and that's why we do it, but really and truly, we know it's not the 10 seconds. We know it's months and months and months and months of hard training that went into that, and a lot of time for a lot of that particular period, the training period. Some of the athletes aren't getting paid a whole lot if they're getting paid at all. So again, love this for them. The organization of the meet was absolutely top tier. The new track looks fantastic. Stadium looked gorgeous. Really looked like a top-notch meet, which it was. The Jamaican turnout and performance was respectable, you know, not outstanding. And it would have been nice to see some of our top stars there. But again, I know it's a long season. World Champs is until September this year. And the athletes and the coaches have to pace themselves, you know. They have to make sure they stay healthy for the big one. So I do get that. What I don't understand, though, was all this excitement over how empty the stadium was. Well, let me rephrase that. I totally understand non-Jamaicans complaining about that, and you know, all of the reporters who reported on the event in Kingston spoke about how empty the stadium was. But honestly, anybody who knows Jamaica should have been able to tell Johnson and his crew what to expect, and what to expect is that very, 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 very few events fill the stadium. Very few. You can't look on Champs and say, oh, Jamaicans love track and field, and that Champs crowd is indicative of what to expect if you're putting on any other kind of event. We know, say, no, so it go, right? Champs is far less about track and field, and it's just about vibes, you know, it's just a whole experience. Ask anybody who has been to Champs for the first time. There were a number of overseas reporters here this year for the first time, and they were absolutely blown away. But that doesn't mean, say, any other track event can fill a stadium, because Champs is about carnival in the stadium. It's bacchanal, it's party time, it's a big experience, it's a big outing for the schools. If you come from country like me, you know, you're saving up for months to pay your ride on the bus and, you know, whatever it is you want to do with your money all through the day and whatever. If you're from a Kingston school, they have this tradition that I love where the Kingston schools, the ones that are near enough, march down or walk to Champs, and you have all the color and the excitement. So Champs is an experience. If you've been to other track and field events at the stadium, Racers Grand Prix, Jamaica Invitational, you kind of know what to expect. You'll get a good crowd in the grandstand, probably fill the grandstand, some people in the bleachers, but this idea, say you're filling the stadium, is not going to happen. It's not on. Not unless you bring in Messi. Now, in relation to Grand Slam track in Kingston, Expo, that's our Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association Expo, so it's a big thing. Expo was taking place the same weekend at the arena, which is on the same compound, so you can just imagine the number of people. Imagine the traffic on Friday evening in particular. Then on top of it now, the event, Grand Slam, started early for us on Friday. If you're going to an event on a Friday, you're expecting like a 7, 8 o'clock start. 5-ish in the 5 o'clock region. Who can leave them work and reach stadium by 5 o'clock on a Friday, especially with Expo going on at the same time. And remember, the parking for Grand Slam wasn't at the stadium. It was actually off-site at different locations like Jamaica College and Heroes Park. A friend of mine who was trying to get there for Friday reached in time, she said, for the last race. All know she must be vexed. On Friday and Saturday, the first races went off at 5:42 p.m. I totally get that that's the best time for the TV audience. And, you know, TV broadcast rights, that's big, big money. You have to make sure that audience is happy. But you also have to realize that you're now looking at a bit of a trade-off. Because, as I said, you're going to have a problem getting people into the stadium in time for a 5:42 start, especially with Friday evening traffic. Saturday was the best attended day. From what I saw, I was there Saturday, I was there Sunday as well. Sunday now started at 2:42. Again, I didn't mind. Finish early probably means you can fly out people on Sunday evening and save some money on hotel rooms, I'm thinking. But 2:42 is early though, especially if you're going to be in bleachers. That's sun hot for a lot of the bleachers. So a lot of people in the bleachers were, you know, trying to get into the shade on the sides closest to the grandstand. But I would think that would be a little bit of a turnout. This might sound a little bit trivial, but look, we have great DJs in Jamaica. Absolute best. I didn't think the music was fantastic. The DJ is supposed to create a whole vibe, a whole party in between the racing, and I didn't think we had that. Ticket prices now. So bleacher seats weren't expensive, $1,000, and I understand if you bought 10, you could get another 10 free. In addition, at some point, they open the gates free to the bleachers. But it felt like that came way too late, and for me, the priority would have been to fill those seats in the bleachers months ahead of time. Grandstand tickets, I thought, were on the expensive side, $100 for the seats closest to the finish line. That's about 16,000 Jamaican dollars or so for a 2-hour event, and $60 for the seats in the grandstand further away from the finish line. That's about 9,000 Jamaican. There were some discounts depending on how many tickets you were buying. Most importantly though, Jamaican representation was respectable. The Jamaicans acquitted themselves well. They did decent, but not outstanding. So you didn't have a bag of superstars running and winning up all of the race them. As my friend and colleague Karen Madeline likes to say, it's a wagonist who can fill up the stadium. Talking here about people who are outside the hardcore fans, people who are not coming to watch the Americans run or the French or the British, you know, people who want to come and watch Jamaicans run and win. And I didn't think the Jamaican representation was at the kind of level that you're going to bring out the fans outside of your hardcore. Having said that, I really like this new event. As I said early on, I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for the fans. But most importantly, it's great for the athletes. I hope it does well, and I hope it lasts. So what's going on now? Well, we're going to have the other legs, Miami, Philadelphia, Los Angeles. We'll see what happens on those legs, what the crowd support is like, what the performances are like. I don't know if Michael Johnson is going to be bringing back the event to Kingston, given the concerns about the support and the empty stadium. I hope he does. I think with some work, they could get more people into the stadium, even if you're not going to get the Champs crowd, because, you know, Champs crowd special. Johnson says he wants ideas for improvement. He's even posted that on X. So here are a couple of mine. Make bleachers tickets free from the get-go. All right, start courting those schools, youth clubs, colleges months in advance to try to fill it up with as many people as possible. I thought the social media work was really great, you know, really beautiful work. But having said that, I didn't think a lot of people outside of the track and field community and track and field fans seem to know a lot about the event, especially since it's a new event and a new concept. I thought more work needed to have been done on that. Grandstand was pretty full, but not ram. So you might want to think about bringing down those prices to try to get more people in and to ensure that you have a completely full grandstand, not seeing any empty seats. But most importantly though, I think the whole event has to be much more of an experience for you to bring in fans outside of your hardcore track and field fans. You're going to have to offer up a little bit more. I did like the little games they were playing inside the stadium, you know, scan the QR code and so on, but you need more than that. Jamaicans are used to the best in entertainment. Gonna have to take it up a notch. What's happening in between the races? I look forward to seeing what happens when it goes to Philly and so on, and watching it on TV to see what it's like. I saw the TV watchers complaining as well about dead air. They were saying, why you don't have some field events so we have something to watch in between the races. And I know Johnson had said that he wants to concentrate on the individual track events and have people just pay attention to those. But if people complaining about dead air and getting bored, I think you have to do something about that. For the people in the stadium though, like I said, especially in the Jamaican stadium, I think you want people to feel more like they're having this whole wonderful experience, you know, more music, really good music or something like that. Give some thought to that, but I think that needs some attention. I would say as well, when you're having people speak on local media about the event, you need local people who know what is going on. You know, the person I was interviewing, with respect, couldn't answer my question then. Didn't know where offside parking was. Couldn't answer the questions about logistics in terms of parking and driving and so on. And you know, that's really important to people going to an event like that. So name a local spokesperson who can speak properly to those issues when you're doing media interviews. So, what did you think? What did you think if you were there, if you were watching, or just think overall? Drop your comments below. Remember to keep them civil. And do like the video. Share it with somebody you think might be interested. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And of course, click that notification bell so you know anytime I drop a new video. I'm Dion Jackson Miller. Thank you so much for watching. Come back to my tea.